Family saves squirrel that taps at their door. 8 years later, they get a huge surprise. When the Harrison family came across a weak and injured squirrel, they knew they had to help. So they took her in and did what they could do to nurse her back to health. After that, the little critter seemed to be eternally grateful, as she never ventured too far from the kind family's house. One day, though, something changed. The Harrison family's furry friend was acting differently, and it turns out she had a big surprise for the humans who'd helped her. Squirrels tackle their day-to-day lives without much human interaction. You can expect them to scurry up and down trees, bury some nuts, and make chattering noises. But then there are squirrels like this one that totally rewrite the book on squirreling. She'd had a rough start in life, so it's unsurprising that she turned out to be a little different. Heartbreakingly, the squirrel was attacked by an owl when she was just 4 weeks old. She had no chance of surviving her wounds in the wild, so it's a blessing that she wasn't alone. A resident of South Carolina called Brantley Harrison rescued her, took her into her Greenville County home, and named her Bella. Harrison was an experienced wildlife rehabilitator and was happy to help little Bella. Brantley not only gave Bella a home, but she also gave the baby squirrel a family. Bella shared her cozy haven with 3 adopted siblings called Mo, Larry, and Curly, and during her recovery period, she lived with the trio in a shelter in the Harrisons' yard. Because of her young age, Bella stayed with the Harrisons during the winter for her own safety. She grew strong on a diet of fruits, vegetables, formula, and her personal favorite treat, nuts. But Brantley didn't domesticate any of the squirrels. That wasn't the point. The main objective is to return them all back into the wild, so I never treated Bella like a pet. Brantley told The Dodo in 2017. She acted no different than the others, but she would soon turn out to be unlike any of the other squirrels the family had taken under their wing. More often than not, when Brantley sent her rehabilitated animals back into the forest, able to live on their own for the first time in their lives, she'd see them periodically over the next week or so. Then, they'd be gone forever. But Bella did something different. Bella started to come back for a treat or two within days of being released, Brantley told The Dodo. The others came back too for a few days, which is very typical, and then, after a week or so, they usually stopped coming by. But as we're already starting to find out, Bella was not your typical squirrel. The strong bond that Bella had built with the Harrison family kept her coming back practically every day, for 8 years after she was released. Bella sits right at the front door waiting for someone to notice her, Brantley told The Dodo, and if the clan would take a while to see that she was waiting there, the squirrel knew exactly what to do. She has even resorted to jumping over to the dining room window to peer in for someone to see her, Brantley said back in 2017. But the family didn't mind one bit. Every single one of them looked forward to her visits, even the deaf rescue dog Sid, who would sit and wait for her to come and torment him at the screen door. My husband will be running late for something and rushes out the door to be greeted by her, and he happily runs back inside to the big bowl of walnuts we leave by the front door. Then he spends some time with her, Brantley explained. But what makes Bella so different, and why did she become so attached? To Brantley, Bella's behavior was unexpected. The squirrel hadn't been particularly lovey when she was in the family's care, and neither had done anything out of the ordinary when looking after her. They simply treated her as they had any other squirrel. But it was lucky Bella had such a caring connection, as one day she'd need their help once again. As much as Bella loved attention, she didn't like to be petted. No belly rubs, tail brushes, or anything like that. Though she did make one rather interesting exception when the family tried to keep her looking pretty. Bella liked wearing hats, and she had posed for the cameras on multiple occasions. "I can't believe she lets me do it," Brantley said. "I could not love this squirrel any more than I already do." Brantley started chronicling the adventures of Bella the squirrel on an Instagram account called Sid and Bella. Many of the photographs consist of Bella sitting in laps, wearing hats, and chomping on nuts. Truly the perfect life. But one day, Bella needed to lean on the Harrisons for more than snacks and cute outfits. She was injured. It's unclear exactly what happened, but somehow Bella had managed to injure her foot and had to be cared for by the Harrisons once again. For a squirrel that visits so often, though, Bella was surprisingly difficult to capture. On one Instagram post, Brantley wrote, "My first few attempts at catching her have failed. She's lived in the wild for over 8 years, so she's a smart squirrel, and it's not easy to trick her. Bella had the beauty and the brains." Finally, the family managed to catch Bella and bring her back into their home for some rehab. They gave her antibiotics and a comfortable cage, but right before they released Bella back into the wild, she had another surprise for the family. Inside the Harrison family home, Bella gave birth to 3 little baby squirrels. After raising and nursing Bella, the Harrisons got to see her raising and nursing children of her own. It was truly amazing to watch the baby I raised raise her own babies, Brantley told the Dodo. Bella was so special to the Harrison family that she actually changed people's perceptions of squirrels. She's a very special squirrel and has always had a large local following, Brantley said. She has changed the way many of my friends think of squirrels. Sometimes it's easy to think of squirrels as bushy-tailed rats, but if nothing else, Bella's story shows that squirrels are capable of love and dedication on par with some of the most beloved house pets. They're animals that should be shown love and compassion. That's a sentiment Brantley echoed. If Bella can teach at least one person to have compassion for all living things, no matter how big or how small, she said, then we've done what we have set out to. So the next time you see a squirrel in your neighborhood, remember that these little creatures might surprise you. In fact, with enough love and care, they might reward you with a kiss on the cheek. The Harrison family had no idea they were starting a decade-long friendship when they took Bella in back in 2009. But sometimes surprises come in bushy-tailed packages. But of course, this rescue story could have gone very differently if the Harrison family had had a pet cat. When a man named Kalpana came across 4 ailing baby squirrels, then he was apprehensive about bringing them home to his pet feline, but her reaction completely blew him away. Kalpana is a kind-hearted young man who lives in India and creates videos for the Chin Chin Coo Kids Nursery Rhymes YouTube channel. When he's not stimulating young minds though, he uploads animal rescue videos, and one of those videos was about a cat named Hetty. Kalpana found Hetty when she was a tiny stray living on the streets. She was so malnourished that she couldn't move. But Kalpana took care of her and nursed her back to health. Hetty then became part of his family, and the two have been together ever since. Now, when a cyclone hit their region, fortunately neither Kalpana nor Hetty were out on the streets. In a YouTube video dated December 17, 2016, Kalpana shared footage of the terrible storm. He described it as the worst cyclone and noticed that wind speeds had reached 85 miles per hour. But while cat and owner were safe, several souls had been caught out in the storm. During the cyclone, we found a nest outside the gate, he explained in his video. It's amazing that anything had survived in such high winds, but survive some creatures did. A handful of little lives had fallen into Kalpana's lap, and they needed help. 4 cute baby squirrels inside the nest had survived the cyclone, Kalpana explained. They were in fact 3-striped squirrels, or Indian palm squirrels, rodents that are very similar to chipmunks. Fluffy creatures themselves, their nests are usually padded to keep them soft for their little babies. Interestingly, squirrels are important in the Hindu religion, as they were favored by the god Rama. In one story, a squirrel brings sand from a beach to help build the Rama Setu, a string of shoals off India's southernmost coast, and the squirrel's dedication impressed Rama, so he stroked it, leaving white stripes along its back. Because of this, Indian squirrels are regarded as holy animals and must be protected. Whether he was thinking of this legacy or not though, when Kalpana saw the squirrels, he took them inside to try and save them. On closer inspection, it was apparent that the squirrels were virtually newborns. They were so adorable, Kalpana wrote. One of them didn't even open her eyes, he added. So vulnerable as they were, although the young squirrels were out of the cyclone, they still needed nourishment. Kalpana then acted as their surrogate mother. We fed them milk using a syringe, he explained in his video of the rescue. The squirrels looked like they might be staying for a while though, and there was someone they had to meet, Hetty the cat. Kalpana was unsure about introducing Hetty to the babies. After all, in the wild, cats raid the nests of such rodents and feast on their young. But in the end, he trusted Hetty enough to give it a try. We were scared and thought that she may harm those babies, Kalpana recalled. You might also expect that the babies would have been scared of Hetty, at least to start with. What happened was quite surprising though. In fact, it was Hetty who was nervous. Our sweet and calm cat was initially afraid of the baby squirrels, their rescuer wrote. And then, after she had gotten used to the little things, Hetty did something as remarkable as it was touching. After a day, she started to care for them, Kalpana revealed. Could it be that as a rescue cat, Hetty knew what it was like to be in need? In any event, Kalpana was overjoyed to see Hetty looking after the squirrels. "We were so happy to see the babies are playing with Hetty," he wrote, and it made for an adorable photo opportunity. Meanwhile, as Hetty's nurturing instincts kicked in, another squirrel was out braving the storm, the baby's real mom. Kalpana could actually hear her looking for her babies, but the weather was still too dangerous for them. He did move the squirrel's nest outside his window, however. He also encouraged the baby squirrels to call for their mother so that she'd know where to find them. Kalpana's ploy paid off too, and the mommy squirrel indeed came closer to the house in search of the babies. Unfortunately though, the storm remained fierce. All Kalpana could do, therefore, was make sure that the mommy knew where to find her young, and meanwhile, the cyclone raged on. Yet, while it took 2 days, finally the storm relented, and the weather changed for the better. When it was safe then, it was time to try and reunite the squirrels with their mama. When Kalpana took the babies outside and left them there, they started calling out to their mommy, and their cries were answered. Once the sound was heard by Mother Squirrel, she came for her babies, Kalpana reported. What's more, the heart-melting video shows the mama's reunion with her lost young. The mother squirrel comes back repeatedly, each time carrying a little one back to her nest. She took all her baby squirrels one by one with lots of love, Kalpana wrote. And the video showing the adorable event melted hearts across the internet. To date, it has received some 950,000 views. Kalpana, meanwhile, was deservedly showered with praise for the kindness that he had shown to the little family in need. "You saved that kitty and look how sweet she is. And now the babies. Bless you. This video is wonderful," one YouTube commenter said. "So sweet. Made me cry happy tears," another wrote. Still, Kalpana and Hetty had become attached to the baby squirrels during their time together, so their parting was bittersweet. They were pleased anyway, though, to witness the reunion. "We are happy that the 4 baby squirrels got back to their mommy," Kalpana wrote. "And yes, we are missing them."